New GarageBand day, it's a new GarageBand day. Yes, you know what this screen means. We have a new sound pack here in the sound library in GarageBand, our Chromium Fray bass house pack. So in this video, I'm going to take a first look at these new sounds. Let's go. Hi, my name is Pete, and this is Studio Live Today, where I help you create, record, and release your best music. And if, like me, you love using GarageBand here on your iPhone or your iPad, you are also very happy because we have some new content. We have our new bass house pack with over 300 new Apple loops, more than 30 new Alchemy Synth sounds, 6 new drum kits, and 2 new live loops grid. So, in Studio Live Today tradition, I have to jump in and take a look and a listen to these new sounds and see what we've got. Now, if you are new to GarageBand, to download a new sound package, simply go to the sound library here, which is one of our instruments, and then you can download any of our packs. And at the top here is our Chromium Fray. I've already downloaded it, but you just need to hit the get button and you'll have the new pack installed. Now, this pack is only 117 megabytes, so it shouldn't take you too long to download on most connections. And here's what Apple have to say about it. Step up to the intersection of house and bass music styles where gritty melodic samples meet deep club beats and frenetic bass lines, etc. I know you just want to hear these sounds, so let's jump in now and start taking a look. Let's start with our loops here. So we're in the track view. I'm going to tap on the loops icon in the top right here. Now, unfortunately, GarageBand don't actually show you just the loops from a brand new pack. It's a little bit frustrating. You can see there's just a little text that's underneath some of these that tells you which pack they're from. But thankfully, most of the sounds in this one actually start with the word flow. So we can tap over here on the right on the F and then scroll down here. And we should be able to pretty quickly get past all of these and get to our flow. Here they all are. So we've got all of our Chromium Fray. We've got some toppers for some hi-hats. We got some piano chords. We got a bunch of effects here. We got some risers. We got some snares. We got some claps. So we got all of the standard sort of loops that you would expect to see in there. All these flow synths. So these are sounding pretty cool. Here's some bass. And some synth lead. And this is all very, like it says, it's very house, very bass. It's a lot of 90s sort of dance music that I used to listen to growing up had this sort of sound in it. It's pretty cool. What's his vocal effects? Fair enough. I've got to make something with that in there. In fact, let's throw that in here because that's too fun. So let's just build out a little bit of a track here because you want to hear what these sound like, don't you? Yeah. So let's jump in here. We're going to throw a bit of a topper on here. This is all going to be pretty random, but this is the beauty of loops. They'll all kind of work together. We need a bit of a kick, don't we? Let's just grab this random kick. Not even auditioning these. I'm just going to throw them in and hope for the best. And I'll use a bass instrument from the Alchemy Synth. But what about if we put a sort of riser in there as well? Let's throw a riser in there to go between these two. Let's take a listen to what these random loops are going to sound like. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is going to be so much fun to play with. All right, we got some loops. Let's now jump out and take a look at some of the new Alchemy Synth sounds. All right, so we're going to tap on the plus button in the bottom left here, and now let's go over to our keyboards and find these new Alchemy Synth sounds. So we're going to tap on Alchemy Synth here to jump in. Now, as I've mentioned before, the Alchemy Synth, you need an iPad Air 2, you need an iPhone 6, or you need an iPad Pro or an iPad Mini 4. They're the minimum specs for the Alchemy Synth. But let's jump in here now. So we'll go. Now, again, we've got the same problem here that we can't actually find the new ones. But, here we go. So here is some new bass sounds. So let's take a listen to the aluminium, I would say. You might say aluminum. That's a pretty cool bass sound. Let's see if we can add in this aluminium sweep into our track here. That's too much fun. All right, so we've got some sounds here. Let's get a little bit melodic here, shall we? Let's hit the plus here and take a listen to some of the lead sounds that we have here. Now, this isn't going to be, you can download this and you can play with all these sounds. I'm not going to go through each individual sound because that would spoil the fun. Let's have a listen to this big square. I'm assuming it's a square wave sound. That is a cool sound. I'm going to use this one. Let's hit record and add this to our track. As you can probably tell, I'm having way too much fun with these new sounds. This is my kind of sounds. I'm not, as you know, no, I'm a singer-songwriter, so I'm not into a lot of electronic music, but if I'm going to create electronic music, it's going to be house music like this. Let's take one more look here before we get onto our drums and see what other sort of sounds we have in here. So I'm sure we've got a bunch of different things. Let's just see if there's anything in this synth category here. Doesn't seem to be a whole lot. There we go. So we've got minor outbursts. We've got pensive pluck. No, that's a different one. There's short, sweet plucks. Let's take a listen and very carefully say the word short, sweet plucks. Yeah, that's going to be a cool sort of sound to have in your tracks. Anyway, we have spent enough time on the synths. Let's now go back to our track view and take a look at some of the new drum kits that we have. So we're going to tap the plus again. We're going to scroll across. We're going to go to our... Now, you're going to have to go acoustic drums to actually get to our electronic drums. Go figure. But now we can tap in the top left here, select our kit, and I'm assuming these will be under electronic. Yes, here we go. So we've got the big bass house. So let's take a listen. Oh yeah, I love a good electronic cowbell. We've got our hi-hats, some claps, and what's our bullhorn here? What? Yeah. Okay, that's super cool. Let's add in some bass and some watts to our track. I love that. Yeah, those old school 90s vocal samples. And I'm assuming there's a whole bunch of other fun stuff in here with the vocal samples that we can add in. So yeah, we've got a few new kits there that we can play around with, adding some house beat sounds there. And we can access these like any others in our beat sequencer as well. So if we come into beat sequencer here, I'm assuming that we're going to have some new patterns here for these. So if we go right to the end, they usually add in some new patterns here. I'm not 100% sure that they have. Anyway, we can come in here and use the same kit here. So instead of our 808, we can swap this out and we can put in our heavy bass house. There you go. That's very cool. So yeah, we can use this in our drums and we can use it in our beat sequencer as well. So the other thing we have new is some new live loops grid. So before we finish up, let's take a quick look at those. So to get to live loops, we go back to our section here and we tap on live loops in the instrument selector. If we scroll to the right, we should have, where are we? Bass House Masher. Oh, that's sounding very cool. Let's take a listen to the Bass House Masher live loops grid. So if you haven't used live loops, it's a very cool option. It doesn't usually take this long to load though. There we go. And we can now tap on any of these lines. And stop it. Or we can tap individual sections here to play a combination or a mix of loops that are going to build up a cool little sound. So there you go, we've got a new live loops grid, or a couple of new live loops grid in there too, but there you go, that is it. How cool is it when we get new GarageBand sounds? Let's go out listening to my mashup of this very strange little track. So there you go, nothing makes me happier than new sounds here in GarageBand, so I hope you enjoyed this. Go and download the pack and start creating now.